Hi, this is a Yesterday's Moose production, and today we're playing Sheep Raider for PlayStation 1. In this episode, we're going to be taking on level 12. Now, full disclosure, I had a bit of trouble making this recording, and I didn't particularly like my commentary, so I'm re-recording it. In this level, we have some new enemies and some new items. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this level started once it's loaded up. Okay, so we have a hedge maze, straight out of the movie The Shining. We also have an area where Sam is, with some spotlights that we'll have to deal with, and some ghosts! So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and order an item, and we get 2 items. This one is something new. Go ahead and go into the menu here. We got a ghost vacuum cleaner, the ideal ghost cleaner. Now the way this works is you have to get 5 batteries, and once you have 5 batteries, then you can suck up the ghosts into the ghost vacuum cleaner. And if you happen to get in front of a ghost and you don't have 5 batteries, or you don't have the vacuum cleaner equipped, then it will not work and the ghost will get you. Now in that little enclosure there, where that ghost is at, there's another item. This time it is a inflatable sheep, and we can use it to trick enemies into believing that there is a real sheep. And we also have a new item here, and it's going to land way over there. And at this point, I want to ask a question of my viewers. Sure, I only have about an average of 2 views per video, but I'll ask the question nonetheless. What is up with vacuum cleaners and ghosts? Where did this trope of sucking up ghosts with a vacuum cleaner originate? For example, in Luigi's Mansion, you're using the poltergust to suck up ghosts. In the original Ghostbusters video game, you buy a ghost vacuum cleaner to suck up ghosts while you're driving around. In the movie Casper the Friendly Ghost, the ghosts were at least sucked up by a vacuum cleaner. I'm not sure if they were trapped in it. Also in the video game Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap, there's a gust jar, I think it's called, and that can be used to suck up ghosts. So why is that? Where did it originate? I suppose if you think there's some kind of mist or vapor, then I suppose it makes sense, but they're supposed to be spirits, right? So why should they be affected by vacuums? There's even a YouTube channel called Today I Learned, and I submitted that. No, it's called Today I Found Out, and I submitted that question to them I'm pretty sure they won't answer it, because I'm not sure there's a lot of people going around wondering that question. But who knows, maybe they will. Perhaps it has an illustrious and elaborate history. And at this point I'm going to get the time clock, which is hidden here in the hedge maze. Kind of sneaky for it to be hidden there. After all, it's definitely hidden by the over-the-head camera. And at this point I pick up a ghost costume. It helps disguise you as a ghost. To imitate a ghost's blood-curdling scream, press the X button. And by blood-curdling scream, it means that Ralph Wolf goes, "Boo!" And now the ghosts think that I'm one of them and they won't attack me. This disguise I find is kind of clever because it's just a bed sheet. I really admire the amount of detail that they put into making this game as close to a Looney Tunes cartoon as possible. Trying to read the sign here, but the camera is being very unfriendly. Holy Sheep Party, ghost admittance only. Which means these ghosts worship the sheep. And there's also going to be a new mechanic.
You'll have to dance like us if you want to be accepted. Do what everyone else is doing and just follow the rhythm of the music.
Now this is where the game tries to be a rhythm game, and personally I think it fails pretty hard.
You have to keep up with the beat.
Now, as you can see, you don't fail too badly, and what I mean is it doesn't reset everything. You can just do the rhythm game over and over again. But there's no music to go in rhythm with. It's just a weird clicking sound. And that's twice. I think you have to do it 4 times. I do like the dance moves though, that's pretty funny. Somewhat reminiscent of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the Sega Genesis, as well as the arcade game. And that's pretty much it. Now we don't have to do that rhythm game anymore, so we can just go ahead and take off the costume. But now we have to get a sheep. And what's going to help us out is we get a robot. I think the robot is one of my favorite items in this game. It's got a lot of personality for a little robot. So the trick with the robot is that you don't want the robot to be spotted with that spotlight. And there's a gate there. I'm gonna want to open that gate later. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna put the robot on the seesaw and launch it into Sam's area. And while the robot's in there, we have to avoid the spotlight. Fortunately, there's some lettuce here so that we can get one of these sheep to follow the robot. If we stay in the shadows, we're mostly safe as long as we're not close to the edge of it. And that sheep way over there is interested in the lettuce, which is weird. I figured it would be the sheep that was closer to the robot. And just like that, we've pretty much snagged ourselves the sheep already. We just have to guide it through these gates. And it proves to be a little bit more complicated than I would like, because something happens that I didn't want to happen. I'll talk about it when it happens later. And here's the inflatable sheep. I'm going to put that on the button. Get some more lettuce. And now the robot dropped the lettuce. So the sheep ate the lettuce, and now the sheep is standing on the button. And when I was recording this, I didn't realize that the robot had dropped the lettuce. And I also had a lot of trouble standing on this button for some reason. Maybe it was the crazy camera. And it's right about now that I realize that this robot doesn't have a lettuce. So now I'm going to put down some lettuce so that the robot can bring it over to the sheep. And of course, that distracted the sheep. So now I'm going to move the lettuce far away, and the sheep will go to the button once more. Now that the sheep has seen the lettuce, I can lead it out. See, way more complicated than it needed to be. Now at this point I'm just going to walk out to where the ghosts are, and there isn't anything you can do to stop the ghosts from seeing you. Even if I had the ghost costume on, they would have been wise to my sham. And they took the sheep. very slowly they're going to lead me over here into this cage. But they left me with the robot remote control. So I'm going to bring the robot over to where I'm at and get myself out of this cage. So this button is going to bring the cage down to ground level. And just make my way up here with the robot. Find another button that will bring the cage up to the next level. And this final button is on a time delay, so you step on it, and half a second later it brings the cage up, and now I have a key. And as they say in the game Gauntlet, use keys to open doors. Ta-da! Now I don't need the key anymore. And here comes the tricky part. Now we have to get the sheep again. And what I'm doing right now is I'm putting this robot over there, which will prove to be pointless. And the reason for that is because you have to move when the icon on the top right hand side is green. And I wasn't sneaking around, and since I wasn't sneaking around, the ghosts caught me, so things were reset. Fortunately, I don't have to get out of the cage again, but the robot is in a different position now. So the idea is to sneak over to the rocks and hide there. Once again, as long as the icon is green, it's okay to move. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to put a fake sheep which I have in my possession. I didn't know that I had it in my possession, but I do. And there's where the video got messed up. So we want to put the sheep here, and then what I mean is we want to put the fake sheep here, and then when the icon is green, we want to step on the button. And I had a little bit of trouble dropping the fake sheep. So it's important to wait for it to be green, otherwise this happens. So let's see if I can do this right. Okay, so put the fake sheep here. And then wait for the icon to be green. And there we go, we've just replaced the inflatable sheep for the real sheep. And as long as we stay in the shadows, we can make our way to the other side. And at this point we've pretty much finished the level, but there's a little bit more to do, and this is where we need the robot. So once the robot's on the other side, I'm going to want to position myself on that platform. And it's a good idea to have the sheep distracted because it'll try going for that button. And I will learn that firsthand very soon. See, there we go. The sheep went over there. Messed things up. So I think I'm going to try baiting it with some lettuce, and then I'm going to operate the robot. And still it went over to the button because it ate the lettuce really quickly. But third time's the charm if I just put it way over here and very quickly operate the robot. All is well. I'm not sure why it didn't jump off that time, but it worked. And there we go. We are done the level. Not too bad. The next level is where things get really hard. So there's not much else to do. Everything's done.
Fantastic!
Just gonna go ahead and end the video here. So thank you very much for watching. This has been a Yesterday's Moves production, and I'll see you next time!